Let's knit an 80s shawl. For my shawl, I've chosen a linen viscose blend that calls for needle size 3.5 to 4 millimeters. And since I am a loose knitter, I've chosen the 3.5. I will be making I-cord shawl cast on, my own version, which begins with a slip knot, and I use a stitch holder, thread it through a slip knot and tighten, and make sure to have a long enough end so it stays secure. And this end also has to be long enough to be able to weave it in at the end. I'm going to make a provisional cast on of 3 stitches. I hold the stitch holder with the right hand, I hold over my knot, and then I have the yarn on my index finger and hold the stitch holder with middle finger and thumb. And I take the needle and I bring it under the stitch keeper and get 1 stitch here, and then I go over and take another stitch here, and again under, and now I have 3 stitches. I secure these 3 stitches. I'm not pulling the yarn or the stitch holder, I'm pulling the needle through all the way so that I have the stitches now on the left hand needle. And then from here I knit 6 rounds of I-cord. 1, and I move the stitches back to the left hand needle. 2 rounds, move the stitches back. 3 rounds, move the stitches back. 4, 5, move the stitches back, and 6. And after the 6th one, I'm not moving the stitches back. Now I have an I-cord of 6 rounds. I turn the work so it makes kind of the letter H and hold it transverse. Now I'm going to pick up 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the I-cord. I go through both legs of the stitch. I do 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Like this. I have 3 stitches I-cord, I have 4 working stitches, and then I'm going to bring this I-cord also onto my needle. So in order to do that, I'm going to turn the stitch holder away from me. So here we have the slip knot. I'm going to pull the slip knot off the stitch holder. To be careful here. Slip it off. First I have to bring my working yarn to the front of the work, like so. And now I can just slip the stitches on to my needle. There we go. And I now have 3 stitches for an I-cord, 4 stitches for the main work, and another I-cord here with 3 stitches. The yarn is in front. I no longer need the stitch holder. And now I turn to the wrong side. This is the reverse. Every row begins with knitting the first 3 stitches that make up the I-cord. I knit them 1, 2, and 3. This is the reverse, the wrong side, so I'm not going to make any increases. I'm just going to purl these main stitches 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to hold the yarn in front and slip the remaining 3 stitches, the other I-cord, onto the needle, purlwise. And now I turn to the right side, and here we are going to make the first pattern row. Begin, as always, by knitting the I-cord stitches. The increases that are made on the right side are always made next to both I-cords with the backward loop technique. So I made the I-cord and 1 backward loop. And in the first round, the pattern calls for knitting 2 stitches together, knit 2 together, right leaning, like this. And then I do a double yarn over. And after that, I do a slip, slip, knit. There. So we have now done knit 2 together, leaning right, double yarn over, and a slip, slip, knit, leaning to the left. And now I have to do, here we have the I-cord, so I have to do 1 backward loop increase, and then I slip the stitches over to the right hand needle. Turn to the wrong side, and on the wrong side we are always working first the I-cord, and then almost all the stitches are purled, the exception being the second stitch that we knit into the double yarn over. So we make 1 purl, and we have 1 loop of the double yarn over left, and we knit into that. So we do a purl and a knit into the double yarn over. Purl, purl the increase from the last row, and you're left with the I-cord that we slip onto the right hand needle. There, we have the first hole in the pattern. Row 3 begins, as always, with knitting the I-cord, making 1 backward loop increase, and then we knit 1 and do a single yarn over before we do a slip, slip, knit. There. This is a single yarn over because this stitch here is not knit 2 together, because it's a part of the increase from the last row. We've done now a slip, slip, knit, and over the holes we begin always with a slip, slip, knit, and then a knit 2 together, like this. So the 2 stitches knit together, they lean over the hole from the last row. And now we make a single yarn over, knit 1, increase with a backward loop, and slip the I-cord with the yarn in front. On this side, in this row, all the stitches are purled because there's no double yarn over. Just purl everything. This was a single yarn over, so it's only 1 stitch and it's purled. Purl, purl, purl the single yarn over and the 1 stitch and the increase, and then we slip the I-cord here. Row 5 begins with the I-cord and the increase as always. And now we knit 2 stitches, just regular knit, and then we knit the next 2 ones together, right side leaning, and make a double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2, backward loop, slip the 3 stitches. On this reverse side row we have some knit stitches because we have double yarn overs. So we purl everything until we reach the double yarn over, then we do 1 purl, 1 knit, and then we just purl all the way. And slip the I-cord over. Row 7 begins with the I-cord, increase, and then we knit 1 and knit 2 together. Double yarn over, slip, slip, knit. And the slip, slip, knit is closing over the hole from the row before, and knit 2 together. Double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, increase, backward loop, and slip the I-cord. And then we purl everything on the way back, apart from the double yarn overs where we make 1 purl stitch and 1 knit. Purl and knit into the double yarn over. Like so. This is starting, the pattern is starting to appear. Row 9, after we do the I-cord and the increase, then we begin by making knit 2 together. Double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, increase, and slip the I-cord. So there's a rhythm in this pattern. A basic rhythm is that we make knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit. So these 3 stitches are the basic unit of the pattern. But we do have different, the stitches appear differently as we are increasing next to the I-cord. So sometimes the row begins by doing directly the knit 2 together. Sometimes we knit 1 and do a single yarn over. Sometimes we knit 2 before doing the knit 2 together. And sometimes we knit 1 before doing the knit 2 together. But that is also a rhythm that keeps repeating along as we go along the edges. And the pattern is symmetrical to the edges, so we are always doing the same thing at the beginning and the end, only mirrored. So here we have knit 2 together, then we have slip, slip, knit on this side. I have now shown all the versions of the edge beginning stitches after the increase, but I will go through a few rows more so that you can pick up the the rhythm of the pattern. Row 9 had the same edge pattern as the very first row. We begin with knit 2 together and then the yarn over, the double yarn over, which is the same thing as we did here. Now we have to just work the wrong side all the way back, purling everything except for the I-cord stitches, of course, and for the second stitch in the double yarn overs. So we purl, and here we have a double yarn over that we do a purl and a knit, and then we purl, purl, purl and knit, purl, purl, purl and knit, and purl and purl, and slip the I-cord. So row 11 has the same edge appearance as row 3. We begin by doing the I-cord and the increase, and then we knit 1 and do the single yarn over before we do a slip, slip, knit that leans in over the hole. And the knit 2 together also leans in over the hole. Double yarn over hits the same space as the double yarn over in 2 or 3 rows back. And then we do a slip, slip, knit. Knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together. Here we are at the edge, there's only 1 stitch left, so we do a single and we knit this stitch. And then we do the increase and slip the I-cord stitches. Work the back side as usual, knit the I-cord, purl everything except for the double yarn overs. The single one we purl, and then we purl, purl, purl and knit, purl, purl, purl and knit, purl, purl, purl and only purl. Purl 1 more, and the increase is also purled, and then we slip the I-cord. So row 13 would be the same as row 5. You can always find your bearings by locating the first big hole and thinking this is a slip, slip, knit, here is a double yarn over, this is a knit 2 together. So I have to knit these normally, knit, and then knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and we have 2 stitches left that we knit, and the increase and slip the I-cord. I'm going to work the back side and see you after that. Row 15 begins with, of course, the I-cord and the increase, and then we knit 1 stitch before making knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, 2 together, double yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and we have 1 stitch left before the I-cord, which we knit, do the increase and the I-cord. Now we've gone through the different beginnings and ends of rows after the I-cord and before the I-cord twice. The first version, as in row 1, begins directly with making knit 2 together and ends on a slip-slip knit. The second, like row 3, begins with knitting 1 and then making a single yarn over before making the slip-slip knit. And it ends by a single yarn over and knit 1. The third, like in row 5, begins with 2 knit stitches before knit 2 together. And it ends with slip-slip knit and knit 2. The fourth, like in row 7, begins with 1 stitch, knit, and then the 2 together and double yarn over, and it ends with slip-slip knit, knit 1, and then the increase in the edge. And these are the 4 different versions. After you've done the knit 1 and then 2 together, then you're back to directly knitting 2 together, and like here, 2 together, double yarn over. So the pattern rhythm is always the same. You're always doing knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip-slip knit. Here we have a knit 2 together, double yarn over, slip-slip knit. And this repeats, so you have an alternating or a zigzag pattern of holes that close in the next round. On the back side, you're always purling everything except for the second stitch in the double yarn overs. And then of course you have to remember the backward loop increases at the beginning and the end. And once the rows start to get longer, I recommend that you check before you end your row, that you check that you're really mirroring what you did at the beginning, because you can forget as the rows get longer. But this is the whole pattern. You just go on as long as you want. It keeps growing and the edges look like this. This is one repeat, this is a second repeat. The same 4 different edge patterns repeat all the way as you keep increasing stitches. The I-cords grow and the shawl itself grows. At first it can look a bit narrow, that the V that the shawl is making is very narrow. That's just because how the pattern looks. But once you washed it and began wearing it, it will stretch quite a lot, so it will become a very wide V on the shawl, even though you're only doing 1 increase in every row. That's the beauty of this whole pattern, that it stretches a lot. So you can choose if you want to have a little sort of scarf, or you want to have a huge big shawl. It just depends on how long you're willing to go and how much yarn you want to use for the project. And then at the end, you will cast off, bind off with an I-cord. And I can tell you, because I've figured it out, I've measured it, that you need 9 to 10 times the length of the edge to make the I-cord. So if you're using a ball of yarn that you want to be sure that you have enough yarn, then you have to stop a while, much longer before than you think, and measure how long your edge is and see if you have enough yarn for the bind off, because it takes a lot of yarn to make a triple I-cord bind off. It takes 9 times or even 10 times the length of the edge that you're binding off. So I'm going to make the I-cord bind off 3-stitch I-cord. I am at the right side of the work. You could make it from the wrong side. It would be a bit more complicated because you would have the double yarn overs to work with. So the right side is more convenient. You begin by knitting the first 2 stitches of the I-cord, like so. The 3rd stitch you slip off the needle, and then you slip 1 stitch off the bind off edge and knit the 2 together. So knit, knit, slip, slip, knit. Then you transfer the worked stitches back to the left hand needle and repeat. Knit, knit, slip, slip, knit. Transfer back, knit, knit, slip, slip, knit. And that is all. So this is a work of patience. It's a good time to meditate or think about something that you need to work out in your mind, because this will be a lot of repetition for a long time. Make sure not to knit the stitches too tightly, because you want a bit of a give in the edge. I'm working with a non-elastic yarn, so it's even more important not to be too tight here. And don't worry that the stitches might look a bit elongated and loose, but you will be happier with it in the end. So you can see the beginning of the edge here, and this will give you a uniform texture of all the edges on the shawl, all the 3 edges, and this is continuous. Once you've incorporated all of the bind off stitches into the I-cord, you will stop when you have the 3 stitches of this I-cord left. This is the last one you will incorporate, and then you will leave these 3. So at that point you will have 3 stitches on the right hand needle and 3 stitches on the left hand needle. And then you will break the yarn and graft these stitches, the 3 and 3 together, with Kitchener stitch for best results. Then you will have a completely continuous appearance, but you can sew it together in any way that you are capable of. So you will get a completely continuous edge all around. And I-cords are lovely to hide ends, because you can simply thread the end into the I-cord and just leave it inside the I-cord. You don't have to be hiding the end very meticulously. That is why I chose for this end here, I chose to change balls of yarn at the edge, so I can just hide this one in here and that one in here, and that will be all the weaving in of ends. Just thread it into, because this is a tube of stitches and it's perfect for keeping ends hidden. And the same at the beginning where you cast on, this end hides perfectly within the I-cord over here. So I will be back once I finished the I-cord and I'm left with 3 and 3 stitches, and I will show you the grafting with Kitchener stitch. I'm almost done with the bind off all the way across, lots of stitches, and I'm just at the point where the 10 times the length of the edge was. So that worked out. I'm just going to finish the last few stitches. Knit, knit, slip, slip, knit, transfer the stitches back, knit, knit, slip, slip, knit, and transfer back. And I think the last one, no, one left, knit, knit, slip, slip, knit, and now I have 3 and 3. So I am going to leave them on both needles and cut the end with a long enough end to graft and weave in. I have my tapestry needle, and now I will want to align the I-cords so that they are facing each other correctly. I want it to be this way, like so. So this one comes straight and the other one also. And then I just hold the stitches together, parallel, and I am at this edge. I will go and insert the needle purlwise here, and I can slip this one off, and then I will insert the needles in the opposite stitch also from within, or purlwise from that side, and I will slip it off as well. So the stitch I was working is here, and now I will go into it from the front and from the back to the next one and slip it off. Same on this side. Stitch is here. I will go into it from the front and the next one from the back. This is recreating the way the normal stitch goes from within. Like you can see this one, it goes from the back and comes in through the front. So this is the stitch I'm working with. I go into it now from the front and the next one from the back. And the very last one from the front on this side, and the next one from the back. And that's all the stitches. So I have a continuous edge here now, and I will just go back into the last stitch one more time from the front. And here we are. And as I said, I can weave in the end by just threading the end into the I-cord. I'm going to go a little way in, and just to secure it a bit, I will go back and around one stitch here and on a bit. I'm just threading the needle inside the I-cord. If I was working with like wool or some yarn that catches better, I would not worry about it unraveling at all. But since I'm working with a very slippery and non-elastic yarn, I think it's better to go outside and hook over one stitch like this and thread it back again. So there are some precautions against the yarn slipping and pulling out. So now you can see that I have, this is the place where I slipped it over. Just going to stretch it out a bit, and then I can just cut the edge like this, and the end will disappear. I had a joining of ends here where I changed the balls of yarn, and I'm going to just, I tied a knot already, so it's not going anywhere. Just going to thread inside the I-cord. There. I'm not worried about this one going anywhere. It's tied with a knot. It's not going to unravel. And I will thread to the other direction inside the I-cord. I love I-cord bind edges for hiding ends. It's so convenient. It just disappears into the edging like that. This is the cast on. Just weave that in as well, thread it into. This is quite secure, but I will go a bit back and forth anyways. This is the I-cord, oops, this is the I-cord cast on here. Try to go inside that. And I'm just going to hook the yarn once back over one thread here and keep on going inside the I-cord. There we go. There. This should do. Snip it off. And I was also clumsy enough to have a set of ends within the pattern because I was knitting across and I didn't quite reach the edge, and I was too lazy to unravel it all the way over. So I'm stuck with this. So I have to, I made a knot here also, sort of this surgeon's knot where you make one regular and one double knot. I think it's called surgeon's knot. So I'm not worried about it going anywhere, but we have to anyways leave a bit of an end to weave in. And I'm just going to improvise a bit. It's quite an open work, so you just have to try to hide the thread sort of within the stitches you can find. And at least like 5 centimeters in, maybe. Try to just tangle it in any possible way. Yep, I don't think this will show. So I cut off the rest and do the same with the very last end. We'll go in the other direction, so I won't have more bulk from extra yarn in one place. If I'm working with two ends where I've joined yarns, I always go in opposite directions. Often diagonally, but in this work you have to go crisscross because the fabric is very crisscrossy anyway. There, this should do it. Then I have my shawl. I will wash it, block it, and then show you the finished object.